Mà ńlẹ́ níbẹ̀ yẹn onílé lóko. Ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Hello everyone, it's Adirunke again. I hope your day is going well. Today, I'd like to translate another, well, I think it's my first one. Another canción de Òrìṣà. So canción de Obatala specifically. And some people will be familiar with this song, some won't. Most of the people that will be familiar with it are Afro-Cubans or Cubans who practice Yoruba spirituality, who may or may not be descendants of Yoruba people. And just by the title, you may already know the song, but it goes somewhat like this. Akete Oba Oba Eeniye. The way that it is sung in Cuba. Akete Oba Oba Eeniye. Bàbá yoko dárà Oba láyé. Oba láyé. Bàbá fún mi láyé. Akete Oba Oba Eeniye. Akete Oba Oba Eeniye. Bàbá yoko dárà Oba láyé. Oba láyé. Bàbá fún mi láyé. There are different renditions of the song. I found some on Facebook and they seemed a bit personal, so I didn't want to just grab them without express permission, even though I would, get away with any possible copyright arrests, but I just didn't want to. But the way that I sang it is typically how it goes. And my intention is to translate it to Yoruba. Lukumi, as many people know, is Spanish influenced Yoruba. So the pronunciation sometimes are not correct or they're a little bit off. So my intention is to give you the proper pronunciation and spelling, and also give you the English translation so that you know what it is. So like I said, it's an Obatala song, and these are the words. Just like the one I did before this one, I think that one was for Oshun. It seems like a song that came from present-day Osun State. Whether it is Ijesha or Ife or Ikirun or Igbajo or wherever, or Ilesha, I can't say categorically because, of course, we don't know exactly how this song came to be in Cuba or who composed it, although it's a very old song. What I mean is, we don't know if it came from Nigeria or it was composed after our ancestors got to Cuba. So it's hard to say, but I can ascertain that it came from the present day Osun State area. And the words are Akete Oba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Just because of the dialect. In the Oyo dialect, we would say Akete Oba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Based on the dialect, you can sort of tell where something came from. If it was Ijebu, it would also be evident. But Akete Oba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye is definitely from that Osun State area. Ọba ajókòó dárà. Ọba ajókòó dárà. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé bàbá fún mi láyé. Akete Ọba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Akete Ọba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Ọba ajókòó dárà. Ọba ajókòó dárà. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé bàbá fún mi láyé. Akete Ọba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Akete Ọba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Ọba ajókòó dárà. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé bàbá fún mi láyé. So those are the words. What is Akete? To start with, it's any kind of hat, cap, or beret. Akete. It's older Yoruba. So apart from fila, gele, any kind of It could be a hat, it could be a beret, it could be a face cap, it could be whatever. It's Akete. 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 Oba is not necessarily king or queen. It's more like presider or monarch, the one who presides over. I have a video in which I broke it down thoroughly. So if you're looking for more in-depth information on what the word Oba is in and of itself, you can watch that video. But for some reason, absent-mindedly, I put king here, but it doesn't matter. Let's just say king. Ọba Àwọn Ọba. Àwọn Ọba is kings. So as you know, or as you may know, we don't put words, we don't add letters or words to existing words to make them plural. What that means is we can't say Obas or something like that. It would be Àwọn Ọba. You had Àwọn to pluralize a word, and I think I have a video on that as well, on how to make Yoruba words pronouns and plurals. And I also explained that some words are exempted, so you can't make those plurals, like you can't say Àwọn except they're in containers, things like that. So I think I've covered, it's a much older video, but I've covered it as well. I'll link it too. Àwọn Ọba is kings. I included off here just because we're translating. We have to make it work translation wise, I guess. It's in moments like this that you realize the difference between Yoruba and the English language. Off is not there, but for it to make sense translation wise in English, we have to say off. We can't say kings in English, so we have to, I guess, make up for the space. So off. And then a is like does not in that dialect. Ti de jẹun, sọ̀rọ̀, something like that. The person has not, or the person does not. In this context, it does not. Níye is a combination of two words, ni and iye. Ni and iye. Ni is have, iye is a number or a quantity, amount. So if you put these words together, you will get this. The caps of the King of Kings do not have a number. The caps or the hats of the King of Kings do not have a number. Akete Oba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Akete Oba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. The caps of the King of Kings do not have a number. The caps of the King of Kings are numerous, is what that is. If you leave the transliteration aside and you translate it a bit further in English, the caps of the King of Kings are numerous. What does that mean? You're describing Obatala as a king who has numerous hats. Means you're saying it's a great king, King of Kings, great king who has multiple honors and performs multiple roles. It's sort of a metaphorical way of saying that. If you look at Yoruba history, wearing caps has always been a thing of honor for the man. Taking your hat off, your cap off, can even be a sign of like you lowering your honor a little bit to give honor to somebody else or something else. So wearing that has always been a sign of honor. And it wasn't even everybody that could wear them back in the day or wore them frequently back in the day, It really depended on your role in the society and things like that. For instance, if you are somebody who serves in the palace, when royals are seated and everything, you can't wear your own cap too among them. It wasn't that people that were not royal were not allowed to wear caps or fila or hats. Or, not necessarily, but at some point, you just have to take your hat off to pay homage, even if you wear it again. If you were a chief and the Kabiesi just came into the courtyard or the meeting place, you had to take your cap off to bow. Now, as a chief, you can decide to wear it back, but you had to take it off first when paying homage. So I hope that is starting to make sense, that it's a thing of honor. Having that in mind, what this part of the song means is the great king has multiple honors and he performs multiple roles. And this is why kings are not really allowed to, well, who's going to stop them, right? But they are not expected to just expose their head. They always have to have something on their head covering it. You're not supposed to be looking at a king's scalp, for instance, just historically speaking. Nowadays, kings can do whatever they want, but they're not expected to. The great king who has multiple honors and performs multiple roles. The great king who has multiple honors and performs multiple roles is how you're describing Obatala when you describe Obatala as the king of kings who has multiple hats. The second line or offline, Oba ajókòó dárà. Oba ajókòó dárà. Oba, presider, monarch, if you will. Let's just say king here, just because I wrote king, but not necessarily, because king seems to be masculine and reserved for males. Well, not necessarily, but just historically speaking. Anyway, ajókòó, jókòó is the verb and it's to sit. If I say jókòó, just that, jókòó, it's sit. But of course, if I say that, then you would be younger than me or my age mate, or the context permits, because it's not always age that factors into honorifics and non-honorifics. Honorifically, you would say ajókòó, you would include e. E is the honorific. So let's say you're older than me and all factors considered, that is how I should address you. I would say ajókòó. If you're not, maybe you're younger than me or my age mate. If we're just looking at age as a factor, I would say jókòó. Ajókòó makes jókòó, the a here, makes jókòó a noun. Ajókòó is the one who sits. The one who sits. Ajókòó. Jókòó is sit. Ajókòó is the one who sits. Dárà. Dárà is different from dárà. Dárà is good, but this is dárà. Dárà is what it is, really. It's the combination of these two words, da and ara. Da is to perform or commit or cause, or it really depends on the context. The context that you use it in. In this context, it is performed because of wonder that comes next. Ara, ara, ara. Ara, something of wonder, something wonderful. Ara is wonder or wonders, depending on the context. Wonders as a series of events that cause wonder. Ara, or just ara here. Wonder, wonders. It depends. Dárà. Dárà, when you combine both. Dárà would give you dárà when you combine them. King, the one who sits, perform wonders. When you put the words together anyway, you get this. The king who sits and performs wonders. The king who sits and performs wonders. Ọba ajókòó dárà. Ọba ajókòó dárà, ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé, Bàbá fún mi láyé. Ọba ajókòó dárà, the king who sits and performs. The meaning would be the king who is effortlessly wonderful. Ọba ajókòó dárà, the king who sits and performs wonders is a meta. The song has its, I was going to say the song has its metaphorical aspects, but not necessarily. The song is metaphorical, definitely. It's altogether metaphorical. And so there's depth to it, needless to say. The king who is effortlessly wonderful. King Obatala of Ife had one leg. There was an Obatala before him that was female, and I'm going to explain in the next Obatala canción. Iyalawa Òrìṣà o. I'm going to go into that. Who was, nobody is certain, but was possibly albino. And King Obatala of Ife, that was, whether he adopted that name or whether it was given that name, adopted that name as well. He had one leg. Ẹni ni mi ẹ̀yà wa o, ẹ̀yà wa wọ̀rọ̀ wa wèṣe. Ẹni ni mi ẹ̀yà wa o, ẹ̀yà wa wọ̀rọ̀ ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ kan. He had one leg. That is why the two Obatalas have been infused somewhat as one, as if they didn't exist at the same time. The female existed way before the male. And the honoring of the female Obatala, well, I'm going to explain it in the next video, has reduced quite a bit in Nigeria. It's more the Obatala of Ife, the deified Obatala of Ife, that is honored more, especially in Ife, of course. So, but he had one leg. When we think of our ancestors, we don't think, wait a minute, disability. At least the average able-bodied person hardly ever imagines if they had any ancestor who was blind, who was lame, who was deaf, and how they may have survived or how they may have experienced Earth, let me put it that way, in those conditions. Nobody likes to think that, but Obatala had one leg. It was one leg was deformed, one was working. So he had one leg. The Obatala female was most likely albino. That is why there's a lot of ala ojino. It's just honoring that whiter skin. So, or that lighter skin. I don't know what the politically correct term would be. But him seated without having to run or exercise his muscles or do too much is effortlessly wonderful. He sits and performs wonders right on the seat, does things that are amazing without necessarily straining a muscle or even getting up from his throne. So the king who is effortlessly wonderful is Oba Ajókòó dárà. Oba Ajókòó dárà. The king who is effortlessly wonderful. The last line, Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé bàbá fún mi láyé. This one is a request. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé bàbá fún mi láyé. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé bàbá fún mi láyé. Ọba is presider, monarch. Ńlá is big or great or enormous or huge. All these English words would still fit under ńlá. It now depends on the context that you use it in. But big, great, great. Is an honorific. You're making a request to a king, to a great king, as a matter of fact. Honorific. And when you say Obanla, many times what it means is they are not just a king of where they are kingdoms that are also like under their own kingdom. That's what makes a person an Obanla. They're sovereign, a monarch, not just a kwekwe leader, but a huge, great king. So you're including the honorific because you want to make a request to a great king. Is an honorific. She is do or perform or act. Depends on the context. In this context, could be do. We'll see. Father is Bàbá, but not necessarily. These words don't necessarily have, because English language, right? When you think father, you're thinking a man, a masculine. These words don't necessarily carry that energy. For translation purposes, of course, we would use the words that are available in the other language, but we should also be conscious of what those words mean in and of themselves so that we don't colonize our own language. So I've explained what Bàbá is in and of itself. You can watch that video. I'll link it as well. But let's just say father here. Fún is for. Fún is for. In another context, it could be give, but it wouldn't be in this one. So it could be for. It could be give. Fún mi ní oúnjẹ. For instance, fún mi ní idẹ. Give me food. Fún mi ní oúnjẹ. Fún mi ní omi. Fún mi lómi. Give me water. Fún mi ní idẹ. Give me brass. Fún mi ní lẹ̀kẹ̀. Give me beads. You know, but it's for here. Me is me. They almost look alike, right? Me, but no relation. Me, or who knows, if there's going to be any relation, it would be thousands and thousands and thousands of years back, and we don't have any evidence. So, no apparent relation. Me is me. Láyé is ní ayé. Ní ayé combined. You get láyé. Ní is in. Ayé is life. Ayé mi, for instance, my life. Ilé ayé, or just ayé, the world, the earth. Fún mi ní ayé. Ṣé Bàbá fún mi ní ayé. Do Father for me in life. Do Father for me in the world. I came across must have been a Facebook post, and the person was translating this song to Spanish, and they translated fún as give. So give me the world. Bàbá fún mi láyé. But then what are you going to do with ṣé Bàbá? Fún can be give, yes. Fún can be give, but it's not give me the world or give me life. No. It seems like it could be, but you also have to look at the general context and the words that come before. So Obatala Eshe, just letting you know that I looked here and there quite a bit to see renditions of the song and what people think of the song. Anyway, I will link a video of a performance. The performance of the song is always very moving and tear-jerking. I will link it in the description so that you can watch, so that you can see the song being rendered. When you put those words together, great King, do Father for me in life. Do Father for me in the world. I can't seem to choose. Do Father for me. You know, that is what it is in Yoruba, but of course, you know that we have to make adjustments so that it would sound like proper English when we translate. So I'm going to replace do with perform the role of, because do, perform the role of, kind of the same thing. Seems to sound better when you say perform the role of, as opposed to do Father for me in the world. So I'm going to translate it as, great King, be my Father in life. Be my Father in the world. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé Bàbá fún mi láyé. Great King, be my Father in life. Be my Father in the world. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé Bàbá fún mi láyé. Great King, be my Father in life. Be my Father in the world. So when you put those translations together, this is what you get. Akete Oba Oba Eeniye. Akete Oba Oba Eeniye. The caps of the King of Kings are numerous. Ajókòó dárà. Ajókòó dárà. The King who is effortlessly wonderful. Ọba ńlá, great King. Ẹ ṣé Bàbá fún mi láyé. Be my Father in life. Be my Father in the world. Akete Oba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Akete Oba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Ọba ajókòó dárà ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé bàbá fún mi láyé. Akete Oba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Akete Oba Àwọn Ọba Eeniye. Ọba ajókòó dárà ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé. Ọba ńlá ẹ ṣé bàbá fún mi láyé. So that's the song. If you have any questions or you would like some clarification regarding any part of the song that I may not have addressed or properly addressed or maybe just glossed over, please let me know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much for the many ways that you support me. I really cannot thank you enough. And I'll see you in the next one. The next video will be another canción de Obatala, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye for now.
Ẹni ni mí ẹ̀yà wa o, ẹ̀yà wa wọ̀ọ̀rọ̀ ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ kan.